All right, everyone, it's 6 p.m. and I call the meeting to order. Sue will do the roll call.
Barker?
Here.
McCain? Here. Wertz?
Here.
Hyen? Johnson?
Here.
Rust?
Here.
Hanfelder? Trent?
Here.
Okay, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, I'd like to make a statement. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I participated with legal counsel in an investigation of the comments heard in the audio of the September 13th board meeting. The board will adjourn to closed session in order to discuss this incident. Do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Barker?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
McCain? Yes. Johnson?
Yes. Okay, do I have a motion to resume open session?
Motion.
Okay, call for the vote.
Barker?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
McCain? Johnson?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to call for a motion to amend the agenda to move action item A before public comment.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Barker?
Yes.
McCain? Trent?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
Okay, action item A has been moved to now. Do I have a motion to accept the resignation of David Hyen from Lewis and Clark Board of Trustees effective immediately and to declare a vacancy on the board? Any discussion?
Second.
Okay, call for the vote.
Barker?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
McCain? Yes. Wertz?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes. So I'd like to make a statement. The Lewis and Clark Community College Board of Trustees takes seriously the unprofessional comment that was made during the public comment portion of its regular meeting Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. The board wishes to apologize to anyone who was negatively impacted by this course of events, including Professor Gerald Moser, who was preparing to make remarks during public comment. During the investigation of the incident, a board member submitted his resignation effective October 11th, 2022. The board remains committed to preserving the public's right to address the board during meetings in a safe and respectful environment. The consensus of the remaining board members is to focus on our commitment to providing leadership together and moving the college forward.
I would like to note for the public, in case there's any questions, that when the board elected the vice chairperson, by operation of law, they're also electing the next chairperson in the event there's a vacancy due to resignation or death. So by operation of Section 3-10 of the Illinois Public Community College Act, the vice chairman automatically becomes the chairperson of the board by operation of law. So we do have a vacant vice chairperson position. It's at the board's discretion whether or not they want to elect somebody from that position, or in a future meeting, if Julie would happen to be absent, they could go ahead and just elect a president pro tempore for that meeting in and of itself. So we'll have further discussion about the board's wishes moving forward at future board meetings.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Now it's time for public comment. Do we have anyone wishing to address the board? And the format for our board is that everyone is given 3 minutes to address the board.
Thank you. So want everybody to have a good look at me, okay? Well, I appreciate what I just heard from the Board of Trustees, and I have a simple request tonight to ask you. I am concerned about the vacancy on the board, particularly in regard to who will be appointed to fill it. So I ask the members to think this through very carefully, and I hope this decision to appoint someone will be a collective effort, not an appointment by the outgoing member. So please find a person who has real credentials in education, who values education and does not demean it, who has experience in educational institutions, especially higher education. And more importantly, find someone who exhibits intellectual humility, a cardinal virtue of all educated minds. The college is in great need of this for this level of power. So now is the time that we should fill this vacancy with the appropriate person. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anybody online? Okay. Dr. Traska, do you have a budget health?
Sure, just a
enrollment
brief
update?
update, yes. So revenues are anticipated to be close to budget, and our expenses slightly under the early projections for fiscal year 23, so essentially we're on good track. Tuition and revenue is slightly down from this time last year, and Tim Bell will talk a bit about where we ended up essentially after our 10-day enrollment. Our 10-day enrollment count. Like other colleges and businesses in Illinois, finding candidates to fill open positions is still a challenge. With a labor market shortage, we are projecting to be under budget in salaries and benefits for fiscal year 23. One of the challenges that I've provided to the leadership team is when positions become vacant that we really step back and evaluate the need and purpose of those positions as it relates to the vision and direction of the institutions. Doesn't mean we're not filling those positions. It just means we want to make sure that we take the time to perhaps update those positions to make sure that they align with where we're headed. Expenses in the operations and maintenance fund are showing an increase as compared to last year. With open maintenance positions having been filled, the team has been working hard to catch up on repairs and preventative maintenance. That was not able to be completed with our limited team members in recent past. Overall, the early projection for fiscal year 23 indicates positive fund balances for the year. That concludes my comments. Thank you. Tim?
Good evening. As you all saw earlier, I sent you the final 10th day report of our enrollment. Was run on September 29th, and as you can see that we were down 3.7% compared to last fall head count. I just wanted to point out that there were some bug fixes that needed to occur. We had some late high school partnership enrollments that pushed that back, the report, a few days. Just also wanted to note that it's not quite indicative of when you look at like revenue, because any student that drops a course after the refund date, which is September 2nd, is actually removed from those 10th day numbers, but the tuition is not refunded, so not quite indicative of revenue. The goal in the future, though, is to run this report more consistently on the same semester date, with the realization that those high school partnership numbers can fluctuate more because they come later. But with the goal of the enrollment management plan being an increase of just billable credit hours, I think this will help better measure our outcomes in the future. And I did share the beginning draft of the enrollment management plan as promised, and then more complete like HLC required draft I'll share with you in November. So this month, the mover team that's working on this will be adding data, some more measurables, and assigning ownership to each objective to make sure that this plan goes from something on paper to something we can we could put into action that I'm pretty excited about too. So this will also be aligned with Key Direction 1 and is designed to be that living document so we can continually update this moving forward. I also wanted to point out that Discovery Day was yesterday outside Hathaway Hall, where about 200 prospective students and their parents attended. They were able to tour campus, interact with current students since they're here on that day, and learn about our many programs. The turnout was not only good with those prospective students, but with team members as well. So I'd like to thank everybody involved with Discover Day. It was a good success. So that's my report. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, so we have the omnibus agenda. The omnibus agenda is presented for a vote. Is there any item the board would like to be held out and voted separately?
I just have some, one or two questions about J. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, J.
Okay, so maybe you should have a motion and then have discussion on J. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so do I have a motion
Motion.
and a second? Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, my questions on J were regarding course docs. It looks to me as if it's significantly higher than what software we're using. It also looks to me like it does more things. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is correct.
Okay. And then,
Yeah, and Brett's online. He can
okay.
talk more
And-
technically.
And
with
in the
this.
process of doing more things, does it replace more than the software we're currently using, or is it just a matter, it does more things? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it replaces the software we're doing and does more things. Does that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my understanding. I wanted to get clear, but I thought maybe there was something else that it was doing, that Course Docs does, that maybe not the other software, but something else out there that
So in effect, the space utilization component of it is more. Right now, we don't have that ability to be predictive in terms of, let's say, for example, you and I are in a program, I fall behind, this software would be able to collectively look at students where they're at within a program to predict what classes they may need. So we're able to be a bit more strategic in how we schedule courses and also utilize space on campus. This is something that we've been wanting to do for a while. Also, this will help, as we look forward in terms of workloads, in terms of what we can predict over a course of semesters in terms of loads, where we might see enrollments going. There's a lot more that we can dig into on the enrollment piece, but as the enrollment management plan comes together, there's going to be strategies that will be able to align with where we may be seeing gaps and opportunities within our scheduling, within the needs that we have on campus. So I think the biggest thing, Larry, is the optimization of our schedule. The other piece that it's going to help us with tremendously with our current tool is the ability to help us schedule more of the dynamic platforms that we're bringing, such as competency-based education, BlendFlex, et cetera. So I think it does add a little bit more than what we currently have. And Brett, if you can hear us, do you have anything you want to add there to help clarify anything I may not have?
Sure. In addition to the items that you pointed out, Dr. Trask, it will also replace our course catalog that's currently hosted by a different company. So that will actually ultimately replace that as well. So it will be replacing both the current scheduling system, but also the course catalog. It will also offer in a future iteration the ability for us to add on a course syllabi management component, which is something that we just don't have in any shape or form right now. We currently manage syllabi manually.
Okay, that's what I thought, Brett. I just wanted some clarification on it. My brief diligence that I did on it, everybody raves about it from other schools, so
Yes,
that answers my question. Thank you.
And we just found out recently that 3 other Illinois colleges have recently adopted this as well.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I just had a question and a comment, I guess. I was trying to find the detail on it on item L on the contract orders, I noticed that somebody deserves an attaboy for saving $15,000 on something there. And then on the gifts to receive, on the arch replica, what is our intent on that? Are we going to display that or sell it, or what would be the?
Travis here, Travis, come on up, my friend. You know? Yeah.
So the individual that brought that up to us, he built that back in the 70s when he worked for Premier Air in Bethalto, which is now Westar Aviation. And it's been sitting in his barn for the last 30 years. So our intention is we're going to clean it up, sand it down, get all the scratches, all that kind of stuff. We're actually, it disassembles into 5 individual pieces. We're going to weld all those 5 individual pieces together. So it's one continuous arch, and then we're going to find a location. The plan, I think, initially is over there next to our building, running parallel to the road. And then we'll put it up over there, and we'll put in some solar panel lights, run lights to it so it lights up just like the actual arch does downtown. And then we were thinking about starting the hashtag Gateway to Your Education so people can take photos and that kind of stuff over there with it.
So how big is that?
20 foot tall, 20 foot wide.
20 by 20?
Yep, it is a 1/24:1 scale replica. So that was built back in the 70s by the gentleman.
Now, I think I saw that the estimated value was $75,000, is that right?
Yeah, back in the 70s when he built it, it cost about $40,000. So given nowadays prices, it's probably, to build that now, it would probably be 140 to 150. So we kind of came to that.
How would you come up with that value? I mean, somebody, I guess they had to have an evaluator do that. I mean,
Material cost and the time it took him to build it. So time and materials.
Okay,
So,
all right, thank you.
yep.
Okay, anything else? Okay, call the roll.
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
McCain, Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, on to action items. Do I have a motion to approve the lease agreement with Lincoln School Alumni Foundation?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I have a couple questions on it. Has this been, who drafted up the lease? Was that done by legal or legal people?
It was Chris Paul that did it based on all of our other lease agreements that we have.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
90% of those things are boilerplate, they're all the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's just for space for storage, so not even as sophisticated as some of our office space leases, so.
But did legal have a chance to review it at all, or?
They have not.
No.
We can definitely give that to them. It is our basic lease template that they've worked with us on, so.
Well, when I looked at it, I did have 2 specific questions. There doesn't seem to be any mention in there about the square footage that they're renting.
We're still determining a space for it. The location they had originally identified is actually a mechanical room that we cannot store paper, flammable products in. So we're looking at a spot in the basement and looking at some storage cabinets that they'll provide that we can lock up and secure their files, so.
Just curious, what do you estimate the square footage is that they need?
I'm not sure. Dr. Tresca, do you know?
I would say, it's like a filing cabinet, so it's just a
Well, it's
couple.
just a
Yeah,
minimum,
they just want to store some files and, they approached us and, came up with this rate. I know it's sort of off the wall, but, in the spirit of partnership, we tried to make it reasonable, and there's a history with the Lincoln School Foundation with that building, so it's really, they're just storing files for their foundation, period.
I mean,
So-
is this, do they know how much it is now, or is it going to, they're going to be adding files to this as time goes on?
Building an archive.
No, it's limited. It's not like we're gonna.
We're not gonna
I'm
become a
laughing.
storage area.
Right, we're not gonna have like a basement full of Lincoln School Foundation files in 5 years. No, absolutely not. So it's, yeah.
And the other question I had was, it didn't seem like there was anything in the lease about protecting the college from any liability for any damage to their records.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I don't think they're worried about that.
If we had a fire or a flood or
Yeah,
something like that, we don't want to have
I
to.
think, yeah, we're gonna have it in a filing cabinet, and, you know, they're gonna, and essentially, it's their board meeting stuff, so they'll lock it, and it'll be in a corner in the basement, and if we need to move it, we'll move it. Most likely, we may move it up to the office that's actually the college office, so it's arguably a little bit more secure, but the college actually owns and operates still outside of the District 7 lease, the basement, so we have that under lock and key regularly, so, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
That's
thanks.
all I had.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
It says, under insurance, the tenant is the sole cost and expense for the mutual benefit of the college agrees to purchase to keep in force effective during the entire term. They have to have.
Yeah, I saw that, but but my interpretation of that was that if anything, if one of their people came in and got hurt on our property or something like that, that their insurance would be first and not ours. I don't know, you didn't have a chance to look at that, but isn't that kind of what that, I don't know if you looked at that in the minutes
It talks
or
about
not.
fire, casualty. It's pretty broad.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Barker,
Yes.
McCain? Yes. Wertz?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Motion carried. Student academic fees, 2023 to 2024. Do I have a motion to approve student academic fees for academic year 2023 to 2024?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Barker?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
McCain?
Okay, next item, revocation of retiree email accounts. Do I have a motion to approve the revocation of retiree email accounts?
Motion.
Okay, any discussion? This seems like a really good idea. I don't know who thought of it. But
Yeah,
that's-
it's basically a cyber security concern.
Yeah.
We have a lot of emails that just aren't accessed, and so they're floating out there. So, and Brett could certainly talk to that a bit more, but that was driven by our IT team, so.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Okay, call for the vote.
Barker?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
McCain? Johnson?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Okay, next item, revision of team staff policy 101, 107, 203, and adoption of team staff policy 211. Do I have a motion? Okay, is there any discussion? Do you want to give a little summary? It's kind of an important item.
Yeah, so this is an item that is in alignment with our faculty contract. This relates to sick leave, bereavement, tuition benefits, and essentially we want to apply this benefit to the entire campus team. So I know the board had seen this probably over the last month or so in a couple of renditions, but yeah, this is for us about the equity piece, and we're just happy that we were able to bring this forward and get it approved earlier with the faculty, really with the goal of eventually bringing it to the board for the full team. So I don't know, Gabe, I know he's online if you want to talk more technically about it, but again, it's to support our full campus team. So any other thoughts?
Happy to answer any questions if there are any additional questions about any of the policy changes.
I just want to commend the team for all the work they did on this. I'm sure it was time consuming. And now it's over.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
Call for the vote.
Wait, you asked for questions.
Oh.
I have a question about the, I'm sorry, we're on E, not F.
We're on E, yeah.
Trent?
Yes.
McCain? Barker?
Yep.
Wertz?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Rust?
Yes.
Okay. Memorandum of agreement between college and LCFA regarding sick leave assistance bank. Do I have a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement?
Motion.
Okay, do you have any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there was any, I know the legal reviewed this, do you have any comments on it? I mean, does it seem like straightforward? It seems like it is.
Yes, I took a look at F upon the request from Gabe Springer, the HR director, and it looked fine. I mean, it met legal review, and essentially it was, I tasked, I guess, Gabe with the responsibility of just making sure that it accurately reflected what was agreed to at the bargaining table. I think Gabe indicated he discussed that with Dr. Traska and confirmed that it did. He was not at the bargaining table when those discussions were made. But he was able to verify that it did reflect what was agreed to at the bargaining table.
Is this not, I mean, is this fairly common to have something like this, or?
Yeah, with a lot of our clients throughout their bargaining relationship, we will execute multiple memorandums of agreement to enter into new agreements or to clarify an ambiguity into maybe what was in the contract or agreed to in prior bargaining.
I was thinking more from the standpoint of having a combined union, non-union type of a benefit like that, or conglomeration. I mean, it seemed like are there any equity issues involved? Like there's a lot more non-faculty than there are faculty. It seems like the non-faculty then would contribute, or at least potentially contribute a lot more sick time to the bank than the faculty.
Right. And then they would both use the time equitably, from the bank.
You would think so, right?
Right. I mean, they can only use so many days, is my understanding, that's put in there. I can't say it's common that you would have a sick leave bank that would be cross bargain unit lines and include non-bargain unit, but there's nothing unlawful about it if the bargaining unit wishes to agree to it, and it kind of shows unity across the campus.
And what if there would be, what if there, somewhere down the line, there would be some need to separate again, to separate the bank between faculty and non-faculty? There must be.
I think the agreement talks about that once you put the days in, they stay even if you no longer participate in the future.
Okay.
And that's common with any sick leave bank. Once the days are contributed, they remain in the sick leave bank.
Okay, call for the vote.
Barker,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
McCain, Johnson,
Yes,
Rust,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
motion passed. Name change of Office of Student Development to Center for Access and Accommodations, item G. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, any discussion? You just want to, say why that happened, or?
Do you want to talk about that, Tim, specifically, or Jill? I can, but, this is the name change.
This is talk about a name change to keep, the name up to date with current trends, more inclusive language, and really, quite frankly, a better description of the services. So just need a formal go-ahead from you.
Okay.
We haven't changed the signs yet. We're waiting for you guys.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, we'll call for the vote.
Barker,
Yes.
McCain, Wertz,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Rust,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Dr. Traska, is there anything you would like to highlight in the information items?
Yeah, I know underneath F, I believe, if we could talk about the recognition report, and then I know Dr. Hill was going to talk specifically on item H, if Dr. Hill is here. I think he's here, maybe online. online, or Tim could do that. Those are the only two.
I just
so.
wanted to highlight, Julie, you had asked last month, and I do know that, let's see, Maya was here. Where'd she go? She got up, oh, she took a phone call. But Maya Lawrence was mentioned in our recognition report that was put forward this month, as was Cindy McCoy, who's also in the room. So I did want to give them some notice. We had, as you can tell, a number of submissions this month, and we've essentially created a Google form where anyone can go out and nominate someone who meets those criteria that we talked about. So all of those are presented to you in the board book tonight, but I just wanted to make sure we gave recognition to Cindy and Maya, who are with us tonight. So thank you.
And I just wanted to give a formal shout out. Dr. Hill's having some connectivity issues, so to our graphic design student, Jeanette Carrington, who won first place in the St. Louis Society of Professional Journalists event. She is also a bridge writer, photographer. She won first place in the Mock Press Conference Writing Contest held in SIUE on September 24th. Just Louise Jett, I know, wanted to let you all know she's very talented, hardworking. She was also in the, she placed first in the student art show this last spring, so she's very multi-talented, and we couldn't be more proud of her, so I just wanted a formal shout out. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Do you have anything else in that?
No, that will be it.
Nothing else on informational items? Any other questions on anything in there?
If we could go back, I just want to address Board Members Rust's earlier question on the Lincoln School Alumni Foundation Agreement. Sitting here, I did look at it quickly, and I found that it does have a indemnification provision and an insurance provision which covers both property and injury to members of the foundation, which I found to be adequate based on the use of the property.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, leadership team reports.
So we have development. Debbie is going to provide the development update, and then I'll provide my update.
Good evening. Thanks for having me back. It's been a busy fiscal year for the foundation. In July, we finalized scholarship awards for the 22-23 academic year, so financial aid and foundation combined, we awarded about 175-ish scholarships at around $650,000. So very proud of that. That's an increase over last year. In August, we had a foundation board meeting, and we also hosted an event celebrating the Summer Garden Show, which several of you were at. So thank you for attending that. In September, we went through the process of preparing our online application system for the 23-24 scholarship season. So we're already thinking, a year from now when we need to have scholarships awarded to those students that we attract. And then in October, we launched the scholarship application process. So students can now apply for scholarships for next year. And we also hosted a successful Scholars and Donors celebration for the first time since 2019, which for a fundraiser is a really exciting thing because we're very social people usually. So it's been a rough couple of years for those of us who like our events. And then in the midst of all that, we've raised about $55,000 in charitable gifts. All of this is just the beginning of the foundation's fiscal year and the busiest time of our year. Right now, we're planning year-end fundraising campaigns, a December foundation board meeting, the spring scholarship awarding process, and creating a process for team members who want to request either a sponsorship of an activity or event that they're doing, or request help with a fundraiser. In addition to all of that, we are scheduling alumni and donor engagement events with Dr. Tresca at the head, and these are designed to be small in scale, but large in return on investment. So more to come on those fronts. Are there any questions for me tonight? Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Great work. So I'm gonna start off my comments by recognizing and remembering one of our faculty members who recently passed away after a long illness, Diana Lefevre, who had a passion for literature, and we are going to be putting in place a bench in her memory, a space on campus where students can sit and read and sort of read in her memory. So it's really hard when a team member passes, and we just want to remember Diana's just beautiful voice and her presence on campus, and we will all miss her. So wherever you are, thank you, Diana, for all your service to Lewis and Clark. Next week, the leadership team and I will have a retreat on the 20th. This is the rescheduled retreat from early August, where we'll get together and just sort of visit with one another. We're going to discuss, so again, reminding all of you who have not yet read the book, The Great Upheaval, to finish that book. We will be discussing that book just in general and really thinking about the work that we're doing together, the opportunities we have in front of us. So I'm truly looking forward to that. And that retreat will be at Pierre Marquette. So we'll also have a little bit of fun. In a couple of weeks, I am going to be attending the Association of Community College Trustee Association Conference in New York. I'm among about 120 other participants from Illinois, both trustees and presidents, who will be attending that. So I look forward to bringing back some good information for all of our board members and our team. Sue, myself, and Tim will continue our sort of district tour tomorrow. We're visiting 5 high schools, so be ready. Sue did give us a little time for lunch, so thank you, Sue. And really, the focus there is to continue connecting with our local high schools, and a big focus is obviously the balance between dual credit and concurrent enrollment, and just looking at ways that we can strengthen those partnerships. There's always a lot of opportunity to make sure that we're providing the most effective and efficient access for our young students who are looking to come to Lewis and Clark. And then just today, I wanted to add this in here, and we'll be hearing more about this in coming months. With the plan, I hope by November to have a strategic planning dashboard added to the board meeting, to the board book, which is similar to what we see with our grants. But our key direction leads met today, and we're finalizing benchmarks/baselines for all of our key directions and the critical areas of focus that those teams are taking on to move us forward. So with that being said, I want to thank the board for today and for just the professional approach to allowing us all to move forward and to heal in a positive way. I think we all know this in our hearts and beyond, that we have an amazing institution here in Lewis and Clark. All of us live within our community, and we hear and see this every day. So personally, I look forward to just moving together as a team and continuing to build a bridge between our board and our team and vice versa, as well as our community and vice versa. So looking forward to some wonderful and beautiful days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Traska. I wanted to make one final statement. I promise this is the last one, and then we'll be out of here. Thank you for the opportunity to be board chair. It's an honor to be trusted for this position, and I hope that during my time in this role, we can all work together to make this place the best it can be and fulfill the mission of educating people in this community. Educational institutions in our great country should be places where questions are welcomed and encouraged, where ideas are discussed and debated, where people's opinions are viewed with curiosity and understanding. This should happen at all levels and be engaged in by everyone, from students to administrative employees and faculty, to the executive team, the president, and the board of trustees. We might see this in classrooms, for example, in a discussion about the best way to weld together 2 pieces of metal, or a sharing session on how you handle a patient who's upset, or in the many, many meetings that will be held about what is the best use of the main complex, or why is a trustee asking another question, and how should we answer it? The basis for all of this should be respect for one another's questions, ideas, and opinions. We are here for one purpose. It's to fulfill the mission of educating the people in this community. Let's all work together, using all of our God-given talents to make this place the best it can be. And lastly, I want to thank Mr. Hyan for his service to the college. Being a trustee can be a thankless job, but I want to publicly thank him now. I know that he believed in this place and that he spent a great deal of time and energy working to improve it during his tenure here. He came to countless events over the years and established a good relationship with many college personnel. Many of the questions he asked over the years have been answered, and the college has improved because of it. He really cared, and he wanted the best for this institution. I wish him a happy and relaxing retirement, and I'm happy that he will have more time to enjoy his children and grandchildren. If there are no further comments, we can adjourn.
Thank you.